Obviously,
Go ahead.
obviously a tough matchup to end the regular season, but one that's going to test you in a lot of different ways. What is it about Illinois, the way they rebound, the way they have
Right.
a lot of skill guys that can light up the scoreboard?
Yeah, I would say that's what jumps out the most. You always react more to like how somebody plays their last game and just their ability to get on the glass, their ability to chase rebounds, a little bit of everything. Like their quickness got a lot of rebounds, but their physicalness at all positions. A lot of times you don't see that across the board. You'll see, maybe a couple guys on the front line from a physical standpoint just overmatch people, but they have really good positional size and strength and quickness across the board. Their guards go to the boards, their forwards go, obviously their centers go to the glass, and I think that's what jumps out is their ability to steal those possessions. And they get up a lot of threes, and when you're getting a lot of offensive rebounds and those step-in, kick-out threes right there, those are the daggers, man. Those are the ones that really hurt you. But they have a lot of guys that can make plays for themselves. They have a lot of guys that can break you down off the dribble so they can keep you spread. And then they really put you into binds. So you got to do a good job of having, good team defense. You got to do a good job of keeping the ball in front of you.
Not that there hasn't been a game this season where rebounding hasn't been at the forefront, but without that singular physical presence you've had over the years, from a defensive rebounding perspective, how have you had to overcome that?
Yeah, and that puts us like in a bind sometimes for us because, if we have to overdo things in terms of helping on drives, so if we're struggling to contain the dribble and then shots go up while we're helping, we're not going to be in a great rebound position. So if you can do a better job of keeping the ball in front of you, you can have a better block out responsibility. It doesn't like end our issues right there. It just gives us a better chance. When you're constantly rotating and then rotating and boxing out, it's not really boxing out at that point. You're just going to get it because that guy's already got a head start on you in terms of attacking the glass. So I think that's the most important thing for us is to being able to keep the ball out of the paint, but also we're going to get in some rotations, but just not be in rotations the whole game. That's where they break you.
I know there are kind of some technical things Trey probably has to do better on those blockouts, like from the flagrant, but there have been a lot of fouls on defensive rebounds this year. Is that simply a symptom of your guys having to try a little bit harder because of the lack of natural advantages on the defensive glass?
Yeah, and it's also some technique too. Like you have to be able to be physical and have your hips under their hips, and then once you make that early hit, it should give you a better position to go and jump. You still at the end of the day got to jump. Like if you're just constantly being physical and hitting people and not releasing to go get the basketball, you're going to get tangled a lot and you're going to get caught up a lot. And that's how you're going to, get some fouls against you there. But you got to be a jumper. Like you're not going to get fouls in your go for you if you're just going to box out and hold your box out and that guy jumps and you don't. The guys that are jumping have a better chance of getting the ball and they got a better chance of getting that call.
Guys, buoyed by good shooting at home the last couple games. How do you just maintain that on the road in an environment like Illinois?
I think it starts with, generating a good shot. So if you can defensive rebound and push the ball in transition, that's going to help our efficiency offensively. But then being able to execute on the offensive end and getting good looks, whether we're running something for that shot or we're running something for somebody else and we end up, they overdo it. We end up getting those good shots. So it comes down to defense and being able to secure rebounds and getting in transition and then being able just to be efficient on the offensive end. It's just getting those threes isn't us like anointing that, hey, we're going to shoot a bunch of threes. It's going and trying to execute. There is another team out there. And how they defend things and how they do things will be different. It's just like everything that you got in the last game, like these coaches we go against aren't fools. Like they're gonna go watch and try to take that away as much as possible, especially when there's some level of a pattern.
How much value do you put on getting a double bye for the Big Ten tournament? And is it good to have some stakes, I guess, for this final game?
Yeah, I think it's always to be able to have something. Obviously, you'd like to be in this final game and be playing for a Big Ten championship, and obviously we're not. And we don't have anybody to blame besides ourselves for that. We put ourselves in a pretty good position, and we just didn't get the job done. And now you got to be able to push on. and play for something else. And this is one of those games. So if we can win this, we get that double bye. And I think at this point of the season, coaches look at it like more for the rest than anything. Now, like, hey, if we play on Thursday, we got to win 4 games to win the Big Ten tournament. If you play on Friday, you got to win 3. I think it comes down to being that simple and getting yourself ready, because you're not gonna. You could move the needle if, like, you beat 4 people. Like, say if you lose this game and you play on Thursday and you play a team that is going to go in the NCAA tournament, okay? Then the next game is a team that's going to be a 3-4 seed. Then the next game is going to be a team that's a 1 or 2 seed. Probably not a 1 seed, but a 2 seed. And then you get to the final and you got another team that's going to be a 2 to 3 seed. And so if you can do something like that, you're going to move the needle. But if you're just going to beat a team that's on the fringe to get in the tournament, and you beat one other team that, say, is a 3, 4, 5 seed, you can move it a little bit. There's a lot of data. It's no different than somebody at the end in September with their batting average in the major leagues. Like, right now, if you can go 3 for 4, you got 500 at bats. It's not going to move it. But if you go 3 or 4 in May, you're going to move your batting average. All right. So people go, well, why don't you move? Like, why don't they move? Well, they don't. Right away, they don't understand what's going on. So just because I'm a 4 and we have a win doesn't mean we're going to be a 3. We could be the worst 4. If we're the worst 4, we could actually have 3 really good wins and might not still be a 3. But if you're closer to that and you're the best 4, now you have 3 really good wins. You can go to a 3 then. Like, you can get moved up, or 4 to 5, 5 to 6, whatever it might be. And so I think that's what you got to kind of look at. And that doesn't guarantee anything either, right? We've seen that from a style standpoint, getting into the NCAA tournament. So just win the next game. There's a lot that goes on. I know you guys ask a lot of questions and we give a lot of answers, but win the next game. Like we got a tough game our next game. And no matter what happens, we're going to have a tough game in the Big Ten tournament. And no matter what happens after that, we got another tough game in the Big Ten tournament, or we got a tough first round game in the NCAA tournament. So, feel fortunate that we're in a good position to where we're not sitting there saying, hey, we need 2 to 3 wins here to get into the NCAA tournament, because there's people there that have put themselves on that bubble, and they are. Because the goal is not just to get in, but the goal is to get in and to win games. So.
Does your schedule change, like days off that you give them, depending on whether you play Thursday, Friday? Like what you guys have coming up here?
Yeah. I don't like to practice 3 days in a row. So after the season gets going,
just matching up with Kasparis, obviously a big point guard. What are the challenges of kind of dealing with him?
Well, when you're going to allow him, or he's going to get to angles, he's going to be very effective. Like, good players are effective when you give them space and you give them angles. So, he's just a good lead guard. He can score for himself on drives. He can make step back threes. He's a great passer. He's got a really good feel. He has a lot of experience playing in high level games, which a lot of freshmen don't, but obviously with his background, he does. So I don't think sometimes people here understand how high level games that they play. And so, like, even when I was a 14, 15, 16-year-old, like, you play in some really, really high level games in unbelievable environments. But no, he's a fabulous player. He's got a great future.
Hey, Coach. I'm doing a story on Jordan Dukes, and I wanted to ask you, what was it like having him